I know. I really can't. How much time do you have for it? Oh, okay. Well, here's what I'll tell the crowd. I'll say it again once we get going. But we welcome questions from the crowd. In the last 30 minutes, we're going to go to the audience questions. What you need to do is write them on a piece of paper and send them along. And our friend, my colleague from FLCC, will be collecting those. And then she'll organize and coordinate, make sure we cover new ground.
Yeah.
So if you need cards, they're available. If you have paper, that's great too. Does anybody need paper right now that they don't have it?
Yeah.
Over here.
Here you go, we pass it around.
Hello, welcome to tonight's Candidates Forum at Canandaigua Academy. The candidates for tonight's race, 29th Congressional District. We're happy to have Tom Reed and Matt Zeller here to speak to our audience here, also speak to a live TV audience at FLTV Cable Access Channel 12. I'm Bob Matson, I'm Director of Community Affairs at Finger Lakes Community College. We're proud co-sponsors of this event, along with our partners at the Canandaigua Chamber of Commerce. I want to say a big thanks to the candidates for their time here. They're devoting 90 minutes tonight to this event, and they have already canvassed a large district, and by the time the campaign is over, they'll have close to a dozen of these events going on throughout the district. So that's really generous allotment of their time and a willingness to put themselves out on the same stage together. So really, thank you for that. The district includes most of Ontario County, including Canandaigua, part of Monroe, and all of Yates, Schuyler, Chemung, Steuben, Allegheny, and Cattaraugus counties. I mentioned that this is going on live on FLTV. It's also being web streamed to the FLCC website and also to the Canandaigua Chamber of Commerce website. I want to go over some ground rules and we'll jump right into things. This has all been agreed to ahead of time by the campaigns. We're going to start out with opening and closing comments from both of the candidates. They will consist of 90 seconds of just introductions and then summaries. And that is where we'll probably be hard and firm about the 90 seconds. The order in which those comments have been made will be made and determined by a coin toss that took place before the events began. We have panel members here who I'll introduce momentarily. The first 60 minutes of this event will be devoted to questions from the panelists. Most of the questions the panelists will ask will be directed to both candidates. The panel members each have an option to ask a candidate-specific question. If they do take that option, you have to have a candidate-specific question for both candidates. After 60 minutes, or thereabouts, we'll turn to the audience for the final 30 minutes of questions. There's paper available at the door. Some of you already have it here in the Canandaigua Academy Theater. Write those questions along, send them to the side. My colleague from FLCC, Lenore Friend, will pick those up, coordinate those, and make sure that we're covering new ground with those questions. What I've asked the candidates to keep in mind is this is a forum. We've structured it as a debate, so they are not to direct questions to each other. They're to use the approximately 90 seconds for each answer to address anything that comes up during the course of the evening. The 90 seconds will be somewhat loose on that, and I apologize to the candidates ahead of time, but to let you know that I've warned them I might just interrupt. If we're going well beyond 90 seconds, I'll just say, excuse me, we need to move on to the next question. But they need to work their answers into those confines. My job basically is just to keep the evening flowing here. It's the panel members who are really doing the heavy lifting tonight. Let me introduce the panel members. To my right, there's Mike Patillo. He's a news editor for the Finger Lakes Times. Chad Rowley is a student at Finger Lakes Community College and a communications major, and then Julie Sherwood, who was a reporter for the Daily Messenger and Messenger Post Media. Thank you to you folks for your time tonight as well. So we're going to jump right into it. Again, we've made some determinations ahead of time. The opening statement is going to start with Tom Reed. Tom, you have 90 seconds.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity to be here this evening. Thank you to Finger Lakes Community College. Thank you to the Chamber of Commerce and to the panelists and to my opponent. I think we're going on, I think this is the 9th forum of this nature that we shared stage together. And this is what it is all about. This is about answering your questions, answering the issues that we face here in the 29th Congressional District. And I believe we face some serious issues in the 29th Congressional District and also nationally. You know, we announced our candidacy for this seat back on July 1st, 2009. And fundamentally, the reason why we announced our desire to represent you down in Washington, D.C. is because I have a beautiful wife, a beautiful daughter, and a beautiful son who are in the audience here tonight, Autumn and Will, and my wife, Jean, who stand by my side every day of my life. I appreciate everything they've done for me. And when I looked them in the eye about a year ago, I said, you know, our nation is at $14 trillion in national debt. That type of debt load is not sustainable, especially when we're annually putting onto that debt approximately $1.2, $1.3 trillion on an annual basis. To me, as a small business owner, small business, opened and created 4 businesses, you know, that type of debt load is not sustainable. And that's the American bankruptcy that we potentially face unless we draw the line in the sand once and for all and get our fiscal house in order so that we learn as a nation to live within our means and in order to make sure that our American way of life is here for generations to come.
Thank you very much, Tom. Your time is up. We'll go down to Matt.
Thank you. I just want to thank the audience here and at home, Finger Lakes Community College, Canandaigua Academy, the Chamber, my opponent. Tom's right. This is what our founding fathers had envisioned. It wasn't 2 people beating each other on TV. Notice neither one of us has gone negative. I think it's a credit to both of our campaigns. Dedication to democracy. I applaud Tom for that. I want to thank you folks for doing your civic duty. When I got back from Afghanistan, I found our economy in free fall. I found so many of our stores and businesses with going out of business signs. It was the height of the tank bailout. Now, the deal was that we went $700 billion to the banks so that they would keep our economy and our small businesses going, and yet, as clearly evidenced by the going out of business signs, that wasn't happening. And I had this profound realization that, you know, the government of the people, by the people, was no longer working for the people, and I decided I had to act. You see, it's our obligation as citizens to leave our country better than we found it, and we're not doing that. We outsource our jobs to China, and we use our tax dollars to do it. We don't make anything in this country anymore, and that's keeping a lot of us from getting work. We have to and must do better, and that's my promise to you tonight. If you elect me as your member of Congress, November 2nd, I guarantee you that I will end the outsourcing, I will get our manufacturing and industrial sector back on track, and I'll get us back to a better time so that when we end this life on our planet, we can look at our kids and say, you know what? We left our country better than we found it. We met our obligations as citizens. Thanks.
Thank you very much. All right. Our first question is going to be directed to Matt. It's going to be offered by Michael Phillip.
Thanks, Pat. I wanted to thank the candidates for being as accessible as you've been through this campaign. Your district, the 29th district, has been unrepresented in Congress for more than 8 months now. Could you give us some specific examples of what that has meant to your constituents and how it has hurt, and what you would do to, if elected, to start making repairs?
Sure. I should apologize in advance. I have a cough. It's a lingering issue from the war. I hope it's not distracting. We've had an economy in free fall. We have had a lot of people in this district not have jobs and lose their jobs. That has to be my priority day one in office, is getting people back to work. And to do that, we have to recognize that we've kind of lost our heart as an economy. I said in my opening statements, we don't make anything in this country anymore. That's profoundly true because we've spent the past 20 years sending our industrial and our manufacturing capability to China. And we've used your tax dollars to do it. We've literally outsourced American jobs. That's got to stop day one. We've got to start rewarding companies for not sending jobs overseas, but for bringing jobs back home. A process that I'm going to call insourcing. So I'm proposing a two-year Social Security payroll tax holiday that kicks in as soon as we can get it enacted. That'll end the process of using your tax dollars to send your jobs to China and reverse it with rewarding American companies for bringing those jobs back home. The next thing is then I'd like to actually focus on developing and investing in clean energy. Clean energy is going to be the industrial revolution of the 21st century, and if we can be at the forefront of making those products, we're talking about sustained employment for generations. Because, just for example, China is currently demanding, it's going to spend about 5 times more on defense, not on defense, on clean energy than they will on defense over the next 5 years. Now, it's about 2 billion people that are going to be demanding clean energy products, but nobody's supplying them yet. We have a tremendous potential here. I want to see us be at the forefront of that.
Very good.